We have looked in lessons 4.1 and 4.2 on how to collect data and how to use studies to get information about samples that we take from our population. This section focuses on what do we do with the data once we obtain it, and how do we make good decisions with it. This process is known as inference. So it's using or making conclusions from our studies, either observational or experiments. The types we can make about the population and about the cause and effect are determined by two factors. So we've got two questions here. Were individuals randomly assigned to groups? This all comes from lesson 4.2 that we just finished. So this is all about our design of our study. There's three ways we can randomize, either a completely randomized design. We can randomize within blocking and matched pairs. So these are all the different terms that we use. Now, for the second thing we're going to look at, were individuals randomly selected from a population? So this goes back to 4.1. In 1.1, we learned the different methods of sampling. Could be a simple random sample, stratified sampling, cluster sampling, or possibly some kind of systematic sampling. Just really want to stress what the difference is between those two kinds of randomization. If we have a well-designed study and our sampling from our population is done in an orderly manner, then we can make inferences about the population, okay, and inferences about cause and effect. So what that means is, in a well-designed study, we definitely can take that information and apply it to our population. In our next example, we can see that the individuals were randomly assigned from the population. So can we make an inference about the population? And that means we can. So that's good. We can give that a check. Inferences about cause and effect. This is what the design does. Because we did not have any control, we have no way of actually making any inferences about the cause and effect. So what does this mean? It's kind of like observational studies. So observational studies, we can look and we can see some changes, but there's no way we can guarantee we know the reason why. We cannot verify that explanatory variable when we weren't able to randomly assign in our design of our study. Next, what happens if we can't do the sampling, but we can randomly assign into a group? So this means we cannot apply any of our inferences to our population, but we can make inferences about the specific group we're working with. If you remember this North Carolina study about the low income but healthy Black children, this would fall into that case. It was an experiment, but we had no information whether the 111 children were from our population. So we can't, unless we know they were randomly selected, we can only make inferences about the 111 children in the study. We cannot apply that to a population. And the final one is the one we really want to avoid, where there's no way to get randomization from the population, and there's no way to get randomization within the design. And once again, this has to do with those observational studies where there's no control, there's no sampling. We really should never use that kind of information as an inference onto even the people in the study nor the general population. That's just really poor study design. Let's look at an example, and we will try to decide whether or not we should proceed or make any inferences based on the information we receive about the study. Let me go ahead and have you take a moment to read the Silence is Golden first paragraph on your own. The results of this study were that the mean GPA for students who were listening to music while studying was actually lower than the mean GPA of students who didn't listen to music. I was actually hoping for the other way. I like to listen to music. But what can we conclude from each design? So now we're just going to change up the design and we're going to see what kind of inferences we can make. The first one says, get all the students in your AP statistics class to participate in a study. Ask them whether or not they study with music on and divide them into two groups based on their answer to this question. So let's go back up to our table here, and we want to answer these two questions. Were individuals randomly selected from a population? Well, no, I don't see any randomization. It just says get all the students in your AP statistics class. No random selection. Okay, so right now we've got no. And our second one is were individuals randomly assigned to groups? No, we did it based on their answer to a question. Your conclusion here would be, since there was no random selection from a population nor random assignment of treatments, we cannot make inferences about the population nor cause and effect. So pretty straightforward. Why don't you go ahead and try number 2 on your own and write down your responses and then check them in just a moment. So the wording on this one's a little bit awkward, but let's see if you have something similar. So since there is random sampling, it says right here, select a random sample. We can make inferences on the population. However, since there is not random assignment of treatments, we cannot inference about the cause and effect. And this seems really odd. Like, why would we make inferences on the population if what are we going to infer? Because we don't have a cause and effect. All right, so what this is saying is that yes, we can see that students who listen to music do seem to have a lower GPA. However, we cannot say that it was actually the music that is causing that lower GPA. There may be some other variable that is causing that reduction since there was no random assignment of the treatments. So hopefully that makes sense a little bit better now. Now we're going to look at the exact opposite example. So we've got no random sampling, but we do have random assignment. For this one, since there is no random sampling, no inference can be made on the population. However, there is random assignment of treatments, so we can make inferences about cause and effect. So what does this one mean? So in this one, we can say that the reason for the low GPA is definitely from the music, but we can only say this about all the students in the study. We cannot say it, we cannot take that information and apply it to all students at this school. That's the difference, because we've only focused on AP statistics students and we can't say anything. We cannot apply that to the rest of the school, only the sampling group. And finally, the sweet spot. I want you to please enter your answer. I would use question number 1 as your guide, and you're going to say the exact opposite, because this one, we're going to have random sampling of students. We're going to have random assignment in our design. This is the sweet spot. This is what we want. So go ahead and write your answer for me. Finally, here we go. Since there is a random selection from the population and random assignment of treatments, we can make inferences about music lowering GPAs for students at this high school. So I did put a little bit more context into this one than I did up here. So because there was no implication of any context because it wasn't happening. So we could have maybe worded that we cannot make inferences about music lowering GPAs for students at this high school. So that's what we're saying though, is now notice I said students at this high school because that is my population. You do not want to say it's for all high school students. That would be incorrect. So we cannot make any inferences beyond our sampling population. Let me know if you have any questions at the end. I know this was a longer one, but I like to keep it together. I think it was worth it.